Welcome to Design Diary, the podcast where you get to look inside my board game design notebook as well as what's going on inside my head. We look at a new word each day from the sense of mechanics, tone, theme, or inspiration for a full game. Today's word is
Luddite. One of a group of early 19th century English workmen destroying labor-saving machinery as a protest, broadly. One who is opposed to especially technological change.
Mm-hmm.
Those are very different. I guess one is very specific and one is general, but that first one is wild.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd completely ignored it and went with the second.
Yeah, I think I did too. I didn't look into the reasons for Luddites. I'm guessing they might be factory workers who were losing their jobs, and all that kind of stuff. So I imagine there might be some, Luddites coming up with AI and robots and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I could see how the second one is relevant as well.
I think of that first one and think of just a movie or something where the robots are destroying other robots that are taking their jobs and deprogramming them.
Well, there you go. So what'd you come up with?
All right, so Luddite, opposed to technological change. I had started out with 2 players and then I just bounced it out to a multiplayer game. But I wanted one player to play app-assisted component with an app-assisted component, and other player or players are playing traditional board gaming, all within the same game. And I did this very asymmetrical, but from a meta side before in a game called Mediterranean. And the idea was one person's playing a Euro-style game of pick up and deliver Euro-style game, and the other one's aliens trying to blow up ships in a very Ameritrash style game. And it was a head-to-head game where you were playing different style. One was big words on cards, the other one was very abstracted actions and things like that. So I wanted to kind of take that same approach with Luddite and think of, that's why I started with 2 players where one's doing the one, the other's doing the other. So I said I need a relevant theme to make this all work, and it should be an analog versus digital approach. Super on the nose is a Billboard Top 200 record store. So players are choosing whether they want to run their record store as an online store, which is just digital sales, or a mom-and-pop store, which is just physical sales, or some kind of hybrid. And their actions through the game will be based on that. So the physical gets a ton of components, and I think like Vast or something where you have all these components. You're moving them around, some kind of tableaus, things like that. Running numbers, doing stats on your own, and it's very tactile placement. The digital player has a more complex math and things like that that's all handled by a calculator. They have a digital version of their shop. Some things are automated, so they can make things that will happen on their own. Everything has a smaller footprint, and their costs are lower. And the hybrid has a little of each. And then I just said the goal of the game is to maintain sales, do what you can within your medium. But with a physical, you have customers. You can put on a concert, have discussion. With digital, you can make banner ads and other click-through tactics and things like that. That's it. Just a very meta, asymmetrical style game with an app component.
Okay. So hybrid would have a phone as well, and then they would have a smaller kind of limited tableau?
Hybrid would have they have a store that has a little bit of stuff, but they have the phone that can assist it. And I just thought we could play a game that's all digital. We could play a game that's all analog. And I think that it just creates a different experience. Kind of like any asymmetrical game, it's all right, now let's switch roles or whatever. But I think with 5 players and having 2 digital, 2 analog, 1 hybrid would be really neat.
Interesting. That does sound. I right now I would want to play the analog because that sounds super fun. I love moving components around, and it already makes me so mad that someone could just sit there with their phone and that is their whole thing. They don't have to shift things around if someone bumps the table. Nothing.
People are going to be so mad. People hate there's a certain group of gamers that are just I'm not playing a game if it has an app component.
Oh yeah,
and it's
100%.
So what you need to do is play this game and beat that person that has the app component, and then prove it to them.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
So what do you got?
Well, I went specifically with technology, and so why would you use an app over using a normal board game? And so specifically in reference to Luddite, they're about destroying labor-saving machinery. And what's more labor intensive than like adding up scores at the end of a game, like just adding up categories and all that kind of stuff. And so I was thinking specifically that there is an app that you can use to perform certain functions of the game. But if you use it, you are ostracized from the group of players. If you only one person can use it, but there are certain benefits and certain problems with using it. If you don't use it, you have a harder time maintaining systems, doing all that kind of stuff. But then I was thinking about like the worst game in the world. I don't know if it's the worst game in the world, but it was the person who tallies up their score first wins. So it's not necessarily that you win by being the best. It's that if you can add it up faster than the person on their phone can, you win.
Is that
because
an actual
you
game?
have proved. No, it's not a game. It's just I just thought that would suck in a game because you could do everything right, but if you are bad at math,
and you
whatever labor saving that you lose. So you have to get it right whenever you add stuff up, because it's not like, oh, I did it first, but then you missed the math. You have to be the first one that is right, because obviously you'd think that the person on the phone would be faster, but if you can get it faster, then you would win. I don't know. It was a very, very stupid, and I moved away from that pretty quickly.
I think something about that is amazing to me, because I swear either, and my mind is blanking that this is in a Button Shy game, but it's in something where it's either a tiebreaker or some sort of like achievement, which is like the first to tally their score. And it wasn't like you win, but it was just like, and it could have even been like a party game or something where you had to tell like who was the first one. We were actually just developing some stuff last night, and it was just like, how do you resolve some things that are kind of like it's bad for the last player in line? And we were like, all right, well then it's first one done says they're done and they get an extra point. And I can think of a couple games like that, but that is amazing that you wouldn't be able to have access to it during the game so that you could score it as you go. But if it was like, all right, now you reveal everything that you had, tally it up and go. It's like, I know people who are going to win every time, but that scramble could be amazing. And even bluffing with it, like like saying, all right, mine was this, and then adding do I believe you, or are you correct? I love that. Yeah, a whole game coming down to that.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's not like Killer Bunnies, where it doesn't matter how many carrots you have. It's whether you have the right carrot at the end. Ugh. But the idea that I pivoted to was people specifically fighting machines and winning, because obviously if they're fighting these labor-saving machines, they wouldn't be described as labor-saving if they didn't actually do something better than a human could.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about specifically fighting a mech or a robot or a machine or anything, and you're taking out systems as you go. So you couldn't beat it in a fair fight if the robot at its peak condition. You would have to cut out its legs or take out its targeting systems or communications, that kind of stuff. So the machine that you're fighting has a point potential that it will automatically hit because it's a robot. It will do everything perfect and it will hit that point potential. But as you take out these systems, that point potential goes down. So these steps are taken that, it can only earn 75 points now. It could only hit 60 points now. And now it's up to you to get higher than that total. So you can try as hard as you can to hit that point total from the very beginning, and that might be entirely possible. But if you take out some systems and take some time, you could hit a lower point potential higher than the robot could have a lower point potential than your score after 4 rounds.
Yeah.
And so I imagine that there's like a ticking timer of rounds. You want to get a higher score than the robot's potential after a certain amount of rounds. And so I was thinking of just like the phone is in the center. It has hidden information, and the board is built around it, and there are lines connecting to the phone. And you need to sabotage these routes and connections to this phone, which is like what the phone is plugged into, like circuits. You're cutting wires, you're doing all that kind of stuff. I don't know what kind of game that would be, but I like it.
Yeah, it's almost like a I was trying to just like you almost could like randomize the route of those circuits and then click on the phone to make them gone.
Yeah,
that's really neat. Yeah, it's cool because it's almost just like a section of the board that is like 100% randomizable.
Yeah, so like, I mean, just talking about it, I imagine like the robot has, at the beginning of the game, the phone sets up like a route network, like at the end game of Ticket to Ride.
Yep.
And your goal is to find out what that network is and to sabotage it in the most efficient way possible.
That's neat.
And so can you find those choke points, those specific disable the largest part of the robot at a time.
Yeah, that's cool.
Interesting.
It's like
I would hate to program that app.
It's like an extreme, like modern day operation. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I actually dropped a piece of tinfoil in my toaster this morning and had to play like real life operation with 2 long like metal skewer sticks, and I was trying to. It was the worst, but I was like, "This is totally I'm playing Operation."
There you go. Yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't mention that the entire board is electrified, and if you make the wrong move and you cut the wrong wire, you get electrified.
And that's why I don't play. That's why I'm a Luddite and don't play those electric games.
There you go. Exactly. Forbidden Sky. No, thank you.
I just saw that in the store.
Oh.
Cool. All right. I like this word. That was a fun one.
Yeah, it was a good one.
All right, we'll do it
Exciting.
again. Yeah.
Talk to you later.
See ya.